Pokemon Red and Blue were the first Pokemon games to be released outside of Japan. In North America, the pair closely followed the debut of the anime's English dub, which began airing on September 8, 1998. And within a year, Pokemon was well known as a popular Nintendo franchise. Despite being released towards the end of the Game Boy's lifespan, they quickly became the best-selling non-bundled games released for the Game Boy, as well as being the best-selling role-playing games of all time. The franchise was a goldmine for Nintendo from the beginning, and even today it's huge, with millions of fans. But the first game also had some unused content, things that were left behind in the files, like trainer fights, items and areas that were never used. So let's have a look at some of them. An unused warp exists in Celadon City, where the door to a house would be, but the door is not found in the final game. The warp leads to the 5th floor of the Celadon department store, which is map 136 in the index. And since it would be unreasonable to end up on the 5th floor of somewhere from Celadon City, and not the 1st floor, it may suggest that map 136 was altered at some point in the game's development. But there's more to this. The other floors for the Celadon department store have index numbers 122 to 125 respectively. The 5th floor does not follow this pattern, since this one is 136. So we can assume that they changed things a bit at one point. Why is unknown, and with the information we have, we can't really solve this mystery. There's no specific reason why they did it.
Now, there is also a trainer fight that was never seen in the game, and it's a bit of a weird one. The Chief. It actually has no sprite, but it uses the Scientist Trainer class sprite because its identifier is directly before it, so it just picks that one. No roster appears to be defined, so it picked the one before it, meaning its first Pokemon roster is the first Scientist roster. The Chief has not been found to give any valid victory speeches when defeated. Despite this, he is still mentioned in-game by a Team Rocket grunt in one of the houses near the hotel in Celadon City, whose dialogue is, "Chief, we just shipped 2,000 Pokemon as slot prices." Interestingly, the Japanese name of the Chief Trainer class is Sylph's Chief. Sylph's Chief was meant to be hidden in the Safari Zone.
In the game, Team Rocket takes over the company, so maybe this Chief was meant to play a role in that. It could be that it wasn't supposed to end after you saved the president, or maybe the Chief was supposed to come in play before that.
It probably has to do something with those 2,000 slot price Pokemons. Maybe those were stolen ones. Who knows? The only thing that we're sure about is that it was scrapped extremely early on, since there is almost nothing. Not even a sprite. Also, the Elite Four have walking sprites, but these are never seen in games since they stand in one position and don't move. However, the colorized versions of Lance walking sprites were used in Pokemon Gold and Silver. Maybe they were supposed to walk at one point. Maybe for an event when you beat all of them. Maybe the moment Oak congratulates. We don't really know, but it probably didn't impact the game a lot. There are also 21 deleted map locations in the files. Each of them has music values and pointers to header data for existing maps. However, it all doesn't really work out. Trying to access these areas caused the game to freeze, perhaps due to the fact that they lack data and attempt to read headers from the wrong banks.
On some versions, you can also find an extra map.
The map 0B. This map has absolutely no data left except for one single byte on some non-English cartridges. This is the only leftover of a once planned 12th town that got removed early on in the development. So early that not even this byte contains any data. Trying to access it will lead to a crash, and the only thing left in versions that did not have this byte removed is that you can set your map location to this byte, which will make it look like you're in the top left of the map in Pallet Town. The game also has some unused tileset blocks that are never used in any existing map. These could be for these unused areas and towns. However, we are not sure. It just seems logical to us. Why some of these areas were removed is unknown. We only know the names of some of them, like Lance Room, Route 16 Gatehouse, Rocket HQ Elevator, and even Sylph Company 2F. That last one may have a connection with the Chief Trainer we mentioned earlier, but we can't be sure about this either.
To finish this video, we will talk about one last weird thing in the game, a type that's completely useless. While flying-type Pokemon are familiar to fans, Generation 1 and 2 also feature an unused bird type. It has no weaknesses or resistances, and is only applied to one glitchy Pokemon that's not really anything but a weird bundle of pixels. Now it could be that they were planning to add the bird type instead of the flying one, but in the end decided to go with flying. However, it's a bit weird that it remains in the files. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the world of Pokemon is filled with strange creatures and things. And thanks to this video, you now also know that it's filled with weird beta stuff as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to click that subscribe button if you want to see more in the future. And don't forget to check out any of our other videos. We have a ton more about Mario, about Pokemon, about Zelda, about Kirby, all kinds of things. Go check it out.